No, I think you're good. Just talk, I guess, to just see if it.
This is Mama. Married 48 years to the same man. He's my first husband. Going to be interviewed, and he's interviewing me first to get the truth of the matter, and then he will interview Stanley and get the skewed story. Anyway, what you're about to hear is the truth. Believe me. It's going to knock your socks off, big league.
Does Stanley spill things?
Yes. And then I'm the one that crawls around on the floor to clean it up. That's my job, because this is 2017 and women are still treated as second-class citizens.
Does Kathy spill things?
She is often spilling paint. On your front porch, there's still the remnants of a quart of paint that she spilled right there. And right where you're standing there, she spilled a quart of paint there. She spilled a quart of paint out in the shop. And she spilled a quart of shellac in the closet there. And she was trying to clean it up before I came into the room. And she was all bent over and rushing real fast. And she says, "Don't come in, don't come in, don't come in." I said, "Well, what did you do? Spill something?" She said, "Just don't come in." So, no, she spills more than I do. I think 5 times she spilled a quart of paint.
Does Stanley look down?
Never looks down. He tripped over this. Let me hold this up for you. You see how big it is? But it's this stool's fault that he tripped over it, because the fabric on this is the exact same color as the carpet. So there's no 3D vision at all that he has about anything. And something this size he can fall over. He's fallen over smaller things. He's fallen down steps. He's fallen over windowsills. He's fallen over just a breeze in the air. He just falls and he doesn't look down. And he has a reputation for that. Everyone knows, except him.
Does Kathy look down?
She does sometimes. I've seen her stumble over things in this room too. And for me, I don't make a big deal out of it. She thinks it's funny. But she stumbled. In fact, she's almost fallen a few times. One thing she doesn't do, which is very important, is look up.
Does Stanley have funny moments?
Most of them are funny to everyone but him, because he's clueless as to the humor that exudes from his facial expressions and the way he acts. And, I would say.
Does Kathy have funny moments?
Funny moments? Yeah, she does. I'm trying to think. Her funny moments is when she tries to repeat a story that she's heard. She's kind of like her sister that way. She'll do one of two things. She'll leave out a lot of important things, or she will add. Is she in the kitchen there?
No.
Or she will add a lot of things to the story which didn't really happen. It's what you call embellishing the story. Makes it sound better.
Does Stanley rule over the house?
Yes. You can call him Napoleon, or I like to call him Dick for dictator. And yeah, he rarely asks me my opinion, like, where would you go out? Where would you like to go out to eat? His answer is like, let's go to Golden Corral or IHOP, or let's do this or let's do that. But he very rarely says, well, now what would you like to do? That just doesn't happen. He's just a man in his own little lonely world.
Does Kathy rule over the house?
No, we rule jointly. She has that side of the house, and I have this side. She has the yard, and I do the construction work.
Does Stanley have problems of keeping things fair with you?
Never fair, no. If he broke off a cookie, he would give me the 1/4 part, and he'd keep the 3/4. He's not very fair. Sorry to say.
Does Kathy have a problem of keeping things fair with you?
Fair?
Yeah,
No, she's very fair.
she's very fair.
She's very, very fair. She's more fair than she needs to be. And I may be the same way. I don't know. She tells me a lot of times, why did you do that? You didn't need to do that. Let them take care of themselves. That sort of thing.
Does Stanley get his way all the time?
Mostly, because if he doesn't, he pouts, and nobody wants to see him pout. He's 75 years old, and it's just an ugly scene to see someone that age pouting. He must have his way, or no way.
Does Kathy get her way all the time?
No, I don't get my way all the time either.
Through your life, what has he done in the past 48 years that you've been married?
Well, he has done a lot, actually. He's a victim of his own self because he has overworked. And he used to be 6 feet tall. But every time he picks up something, his spine collapses in on itself, and now he's about 5'2". He's lifted things too heavy for a larger man. And he goes at everything like there's a fire, which his own father accused him of. And he's just done too much. And the worst part is, I get drug in on it too. And as a result, I do too much. I do so much. He got me a book one time that was called For Women Who Do Too Much. And you know what? He has kept me so busy, I haven't had a chance to read the book. It's still on my nightstand. The Woman Who Does Too Much. I think I might be on page 12.
Do you work her to death?
Absolutely not. Here's the way it goes. When we started building the house, we agreed it was something that we would both do. And I told her early on, there's going to be a lot of things you're not going to understand why we're doing it, but just trust me and don't ask any questions. And you know what? She did. She worked very, very hard right along beside me. We finally got to the point where we were completing a lot of projects, and this was last fall especially, and she wanted to know, isn't there something we can be doing? And I said, well, just take a rest. There's nothing to do right now. Well, I feel like we need to be doing something. So when she talks about me putting a lot of work on her, she's asked for it. She's asked for trouble.
Does he like to, he always thinks he wants to do a new project?
Yes, we do 99% of every project we do, leaving 1% for whoever might magically finish the job. Well, we have several things right now. There's molding missing. Was the very last thing, the steps, but that's still not done. We started working on the driveway, but oops, we need to work on paver stones. And we need to get mulch laid out. So he orders a mulch, he orders gravel, he orders paver stones, and he's limping around here like a Vietnam vet, can't do anything, and I'm supposed to take care of all these piles of stuff that we just bought.
Do you drag her into new projects all the time?
No, I do not. Do not. She drags me into projects when I'm not even ready for it.
Does he always like to go to a favorite place all the time?
Like I said, you talk about eating out, and he says Golden Corral. We don't even get a discount. They won't even honor my military discount there, except on Veterans Day.
Do you never, ask her where she would like to go, but you always want to go to your favorite places?
Well, this is the way it is. She doesn't want to admit this, but I kept after her for the longest time to go to Biltmore. I said, we need to go to Biltmore. And she said, nah, I don't want to do that. So we didn't go. It cost quite a bit of money to go. So her sister asked her to go, and she said, "Oh yeah, I'd love to go." And her friend Janie said the same thing. We'd love to go. We'd have a girls' weekend out. And so I said, "How is it that I asked you about going and you didn't want to go?" I said, "And your sister and your friend asked you, and you're all for it." She said, "You never asked me." I said, "Oh yes, I did. You just forgot." So we have had an agreement among ourselves that if we feel the other person is getting forgetful, or maybe dementia is creeping in slowly, and it does happen slowly, that we would let each other know. So I told her one day, "Do you remember what the agreement that we had about when we both observed that each other was getting forgetful?" And she said, "What was that?" And I said that we would let each other know. "Oh yeah." I said, "Well, I'm putting you on notice."
You have an issue with him doing things around the house, like keeping lights on?
Lights. We have bought more light bulbs in our 48 years than most people would in their total lifetime. And this is because he has a thing about not wanting to be in the dark. So the first thing he does when he comes downstairs is he turns lights on in the living room. And that's a room we use once a week on Sundays for a church service that lasts an hour. But he'll turn those lights on at 7:30 in the morning and won't turn them out until 11 at night. And I don't know who we're lighting it up for, because sometimes he gets in the car and goes off.
How come you turn on every blessed light there is in this house, and then you go away and you drive downtown and all the lights are on in the house because you like it to be cheery?
And he's gone all day, and those poor lights are just burning away. And then he says, "You know what burns out a light bulb quicker than anything? Turning it on and off." And I said, "Well, Stanley, you wouldn't have to turn it on and off if you didn't turn it on in the first place." And I'm certainly getting tired of buying these bulbs, because they're not just $1 a piece anymore. Some bulbs cost $13 a piece. We've got 18 bulbs in our meeting room, and he burns on average of 4 every day. And they all have a lifetime and a limited usage. But anyway, that's the way he is. He loves light bulbs. If you want to buy him anything, get him a carton of light bulbs. He'll be thrilled.
Who denies the most, Kathy or you?
I think she does.
What is this? What is that? Oh boy. I can't keep up with all y'all stuff over there. Okay.